Hey everyone, welcome back. I went thrifting and I found some decor that I turned into some Halloween decor, and I'm going to show you how I did that in this video today. It was fun, easy, and affordable. If you're new here and you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. All right, let's get started. For this first thrifted decor item, I got these chicken pictures from Goodwill. They were $4.99 a piece, and actually it was blue tags were 50% off. So this second one, I didn't realize till I got home was 50% off. I don't know why the other one wasn't, but oh well. At least I got half off on one of them. So anyways, I went ahead and took the back off of the frame, which was actually just the picture. It was a little hard to get the back off of this frame. There was these staples in it, so I just used a flathead screwdriver and pried them up and then pulled out the picture. And then I was left with the rooster here. So I started off by painting this rooster with just some black acrylic paint. I just went around the whole rooster and filled him all in so that way every inch of him was black. So I painted around the eyes and the little red things and then his tail. And then also I painted around his feet as well. So I got everything painted, and I did do 2 coats of the black acrylic paint just to make sure that you couldn't see any of the other color through, and it dried pretty quickly. Then I came back with some white acrylic paint and a smaller paintbrush, and then I used a picture just that I found online of a Halloween chicken that looked like it was a skeleton, and I kind of just tried to mimic that and draw or paint that onto this chicken picture. I really didn't do this precise. This isn't, science. I don't know how the bones actually go on the chicken. I just tried to look at the picture and then do the best I could with how this rooster looked. And I just made everything kind of look bone shaped and filled in with the white acrylic paint until it looked good. And I only did 1 coat of the white acrylic paint. And then I came back in with a little black acrylic paint and made his eye. Then I set that aside and I let that dry, and I went ahead and started working on the second chicken picture. And for this one, I decided to make her a ghost. So all I did was take some white acrylic paint, and then I outlined the chicken around the top half of the chicken, and then the bottom half I kind of brought the white paint down a little bit to make it look more sheet-like. And then I also left the eye and the beak out, so I did not paint those, so that way it looked like it had a sheet over its body. And then I came back with a little gray paint, and I painted in some shadows with that gray paint, and then a little more white paint over the gray paint just to kind of blend everything in. There was no rhyme or reason to this. I just painted until I figured out the way I liked it. Then I came back with the little baby chicks, and I decided to paint little witches' hats on them. So I just took the black acrylic paint and I painted a couple coats over their little heads to make it look like they had little witches' hats on. And then I decided to add a little broom to that bottom chicken, and I just used a little brown acrylic paint with a little yellow mixed into the bottom and a little white and a little more brown, and just kind of brushed that over it until I got it the way I liked it and it looked kind of like a broom. And then I decided I was going to go ahead and paint the outside or the mat of each frame in black, and this is how they turned out. I think they are so adorable. I don't know which one is my favorite. I like them both. It's perfect to hang together, to hang up your entryway or just to hang around the house for Halloween season. This next thrifted item was this ceramic clock house for $3.99 I picked up at the thrift store. I thought it was perfect and easy to turn into a haunted house for Halloween. The first thing I did was remove that felt bottom there because it was already coming off and it was pretty gross. So I just used a heat gun to heat it up, and then I scraped it off with a flathead screwdriver and got that off quickly. Then I removed the clock and it still works. It just needed a new battery, so I got that all replaced. And then I went ahead and spray painted the house with some black spray paint. I just spray painted the whole thing. And then I came back with some yellow paint in a very small paintbrush and used that to go in between the panes of the window, so that way it looked like there was light shining through the window kind of. So this was a little tedious because you had to have a very small brush to go in between those pieces, but it worked out. I think it looked cute, and it definitely elevated the piece and added some detail that it really needed for a haunted house look. And then for the greenery that was already around the house, I decided to go ahead and take some green and yellow and brown paint and mix that up, and then just lightly brush over all of those pieces to make it look just a little more spooky and mossy colored, and just kind of give it a little bit more detail and add to the piece. Next, I wanted some pumpkins to put around this house, but I didn't have any small miniature pumpkins, but I did have this white and brown clay from Dollar Tree. So I just tore some pieces off and shaped them into a pumpkin shape as best as I could. I just made them into a round ball, and then I just took a little tool that I had for painting, and I added the little ridges for the pumpkin, and then I took a little piece of brown clay and used that for the stem and pressed that into the top of the pumpkin just to make it look cute. And my fingers and stuff were all painted and messy, so it kind of made the pumpkin look a little bit more old and creepy instead of just bright white. And I made 3 of those pumpkins, and then I just added them around the house with a dab of hot glue for each one of them. There was perfect little ledges on this house to be able to add some pumpkins. If I would have had some more miniature items, I would have added like maybe a little ghost or some bats or something at the top of the house, but I didn't have anything on hand. But maybe in the future I will pick up some from Hobby Lobby or something and add them around the house just to embellish this a little bit more and make it a little bit more spooky. But I do like how this turned out. I added the clock back, and I think this is adorable, and it definitely looks a lot more spooky and cute for Halloween to sit on your mantle or side table. Next up, I found this planter at the thrift store for $3.99. It was already white and it was in really good condition. So I just removed the tag and gave it a good cleaning, wiped down on the outside and the inside. And then I took some black acrylic paint and I painted just some eyes and a mouth to make it a ghost. Now, I also had the idea where you could turn this upside down, and it would actually might look more like a ghost if you did that, and then you could use it as like a candle holder. So the bottom of this little vase with the foot on it, it could be the holder for the candle, if that makes sense. And then you could paint the face the opposite way. But I did it this way and made it a planter, and I think it turned out really adorable and is perfect for Halloween. Adding some Halloween or fall greenery to it, it just really brightens everything up. Lastly, I picked up this basket from the thrift store. It was a little pricey. It was $8.99, a little bit more than what I normally would pay for things, but I did think it was pretty cool and unique, and it had an oval shape to it already, so it kind of already had a pumpkin shape to it. The only thing I needed to do was add a stem, so I went out in my backyard and I found the best stem I could find, and I just jammed that into the top of the basket, and I added a little bit of hot glue around the edges just to make sure that it didn't fall off. And then I wanted to kind of embellish around this stem a little bit because I was going to use this as a door hanger for Halloween. So I added some burlap, and then I had a couple of these jack-o'-lantern burlap bags from Dollar Tree from last year that I found in my stash. So I just cut the jack-o'-lantern part out and used that, just tied it in a knot, and then I tied it around the burlap. And I think that added just some cuteness to the piece and made it look more Halloween-y. I added some of that raffia there. I also added a few leaves that I got from some picks that I have from Dollar Tree and some twine. And then I just cut the pieces to look more like ribbon. And I think this turned out really adorable. It's perfect and pretty big for my front door. So actually only spending $8.99 on it wasn't a bad deal at all. I actually really love how this turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.